Dear students, welcome to my video class. Today we'll discuss on microteaching. In today's discussion, we'll try to understand the concept of microteaching, objectives of microteaching, and steps involved in microteaching. Let's start with the concept of microteaching. Microteaching is an innovation in the field of teacher education or teacher training program. It is considered as a teacher training technique, and this is used for the modification of pupil teachers' behavior. For the first time, this particular teacher training technique was invented by Dwight W. Allen in the mid-1960s at Stanford University. He was a professor of education, eminent scholar, and lifelong education reformist. This particular teacher training technique is considered as a mechanism of feedback device for the modification of teacher trainees or pupil teachers. According to Dwight W. Allen, microteaching is a scaled-down teaching encounter. Here, the one pupil teacher teaches to a small group of students for a small period of 5 to 10 minutes duration, and one skill is practiced during the teaching session. Here, we have to remember that other pupil teachers, that means the teacher trainees, other teacher trainees, they play the role of students. Dear students, we know that to be a good teacher, the teacher must know the various teaching skills. There are a number of teaching skills. So through micro teaching, the teacher trainees or the pupil teachers, they get the scope to learn about the various teaching skills. Yes, we have to remember that in one micro teaching session, only one teaching skill can be learned. Through micro teaching, the teacher trainees or the pupil teachers, they get the opportunity to use the various teaching skills and to learn the art of teaching properly in an effective way. Dear students, obviously a question comes, why microteaching is considered as a scaled down teaching process. We have to remember that in case of microteaching, scaling down is the keyword. So why it is a scaled down teaching process? Because microteaching has reduced the class size. The class size has been reduced from 5 to 10 pupils. It has reduced the duration of the class period also. The class period has been reduced from 5 to 10 minutes. Again, microteaching has reduced the learning content. That is, one teaching skill is practiced in a particular microteaching session. So, NCERT has suggested a different model of microteaching that is to be used only in Indian context. So here I'd like to tell you certain salient features of this particular model of teaching, which is known as Indian model of microteaching, and this is developed by NCERT. The first salient feature of this particular model of microteaching is the mode of presenting the skill is done through lectures, demonstration, and discussion. In other countries like US, UK, etc., it is done through films, video, etc. Live observers are used to provide feedback to the pupil teachers or teacher trainees. And the next feature is that the duration of the micro-teaching cycle has been decided in such way: teaching for 6 minutes, feedback for 6 minutes, replanning for 12 minutes, Reteaching for 6 minutes, re-feedback 6 minutes, total 36 minutes have been allotted for a particular micro-teaching session. And this has been suggested by NCERT, and this is only to be used in Indian context. Now we'll discuss about the objectives, various objectives of micro-teaching. The first objective of micro-teaching is that to enable pupil teachers or teacher trainees to learn and assimilate new teaching skills under controlled conditions. We have to remember that in micro-teaching, the teacher trainees or the pupil teachers, they learn the various teaching skills only under controlled conditions. Next point is to enable pupil teachers to have mastery over the various teaching skills. This is very important for a teacher to have mastery over the various teaching skills, as we know that there are a number of teaching skills available, and you know that B.K. Passy has suggested around 14 various teaching skills that is to be learned by a teacher, and micro-teaching provides this opportunity to have mastery over the various teaching skills. Next point is to help in effective modification of pupil teachers' behavior. Again, another objective of micro-teaching is to enable the teacher to get deeper knowledge regarding the art of teaching. This is very important. Only through a proper art of teaching, proper learning can be possible. Effective learning can be possible, and micro-teaching helps the teacher trainees to get the deeper knowledge regarding how to use this particular art of teaching. And the next point is to enable the pupil teachers to gain confidence in teaching. So the knowledge of various teaching skills help in gaining confidence among the teachers. So this is very important for effective teaching learning transaction. So these are the various objectives of micro teaching. Now we'll try to understand about the various steps involved in micro teaching. Generally, the cycle of micro teaching, it involves these 6 steps: micro lesson plan, teach micro lesson, discuss feedback, replan, reteach another group, and re-feedback. So these are the 6 steps involved in micro teaching. So in order to carry out a micro teaching session, the pupil teacher has to plan a micro lesson, and that lesson is to be taught to the group. After teaching to the group, the students will provide the feedback to the pupil teacher, and based on that feedback, the pupil teacher will replan the lesson, reteach another group, and that group will again provide the feedback to the pupil teacher or the teacher training. So what happens in this micro teaching cycle? As per the cycle of micro teaching, a pupil teacher teaches a short lesson of about 5 to 10 minutes duration to a small group of pupils. At the end of this 5 to 10 minutes duration class, the students along with their teacher educator discuss the lesson and provide immediate feedback. After a short interval, the pupil teacher reteaches the lesson, making use of the feedback and attempts to improve the previous knowledge. Dear students, hope in this class you are able to understand the concept, objectives, and steps of micro teaching. With this, I am concluding my class. Thank you.